Welcome back to the How to Be a Redhead podcast. Today we're diving into a topic that's both fascinating and important for many redheads: anesthesia and pain perception.
If you're a redhead, you've probably heard that you might need more anesthesia than others. And this is one of the most popular topics. Redheads love to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to dig into, is it true? And if so, why? From dental procedures to labor and delivery, redheads have shared unique experiences with anesthesia that raise important questions about pain perception and medical care. In this episode, we'll explore these experiences, the science behind them, and what it means for redheads navigating medical procedures. Whether you're a redhead yourself or just curious about this topic, this episode is for you. Super fascinating. So let's get into it and see what people are asking and saying.
Yeah, so the first story we're reading, it's titled Any Anesthesia Stories. And someone wrote, seriously though, how many of us have an anesthesia story? Many moons ago, before I advocated for myself more boldly, I awoke during surgery, raising up like Frankenstein's bride with my arms outstretched and giving a great fright to all. A nurse fainted. It was one of the most painful and terrifying experiences of my life. I remain curious how many of us true redheads here have experienced the red-haired curse and had a horrible experience with meds or anesthesia. So
Yeah.
when we
Wow.
saw this, it's such a hot topic within the redhead community talking about anesthesia.
Hmm.
And obviously, this sparked so many people in the comment section sharing their personal experiences with anesthesia. And some report needing obviously higher doses, which we had on the anesthesiologist who made that claim back in the
Yes.
day, saying that redheads do need 20%
More
more
anesthesia.
anesthesia if you are a natural redhead. So,
We'll
first off,
link that in the podcast too, just
yes.
because it's one of our most popular podcasts we've ever done because he breaks down a lot of the science behind it, but it's all
Mhm.
has to do with the MC1R gene. It has to do with the actual redhead gene that makes you need more anesthesia and have
Yeah,
pain perception differences. Yeah, it's crazy.
it's totally fascinating, and I think it does has sh when that study came out, I think now more and more redheads do advocate for themselves, and I feel like we hear a mix of doctors are telling people, "Yes, you do," and then others are saying, "Oh, I didn't learn that in medical school, so it's not accurate," but we had on the doctor who
Confirmed.
confirmed that you do. It is something to bring about if you do have a surgery
Yeah,
in
to
the
talk to your
future
doctor
to
about.
talk to your
Yeah.
doctor about.
Yeah. I remember a few things when I was in 2005 when I had my wisdom teeth
Oh
out.
my god, I was gonna yeah.
The doctor recommended, like, told me that I'm going to need more anesthesia because I'm a natural redhead. And I had never heard that
Really?
before. Yeah. And then my husband, Josh, he has always been very sensitive to anesthesia. And a doctor actually knew he was a natural redhead and wanted to put him and give him more anesthesia and actually gave him too much. And he was out for 3 days. It was just like a minor finger surgery.
Oh my god.
So, and that was probably like 2010 when that happened. So like that was 2005, 2010. I feel like doctors like kind of knew about it, but it's definitely more mainstream now. But I know
Yeah.
Steph, the key themes, right, for this whole thread was that most people did report needing a higher dosage and
Mhm.
taking longer to go under. So that's
Yes.
super fascinating. Now, Steph, you've had a bunch of surgeries in your life.
I know I have. I'm, like, trying to count
You
wisdom
have.
teeth, tonsils, C-section, then I had to go back under because I lost all that blood
Oh
for a
my gosh.
DNC, and then thyroid. Yeah, but never once has anyone ever said, "Oh, you need more anesthesia." Nothing,
Isn't that
never.
crazy?
Yeah,
But do you
only
feel like it took you longer to go under or no, weren't that?
maybe they already knew and they just pumped me whatever they I don't know,
Hard
like, the
to know,
science.
like once you have it, you're like out anyway, like a light.
Yeah, I remember every one almost I do remember counting. You know how they tell you to count down?
Yeah. Oh, and then You wake up and then it's over. Isn't that
It's like,
crazy?
oh my god, but I remember after having Bo, I had a C-section, I lost a lot of blood, so I had to get a DNC. I'll never forget I laying down.
But that's a redhead thing that you lose more blood, right?
That's what my OB said. I was losing a lot of blood with blood clots, which is common after a C-section. They make sure that not and it's supposed to just be like, okay, they just pump, they just push your stomach down a few times and then that's it, and then you go to your room. That's what one of the nurses said. But with me, it was like they were like the size of golf balls and like getting really big. So then she came into the room. They had to call my doctor. Apparently, she had ended her shift and was already in her car in the parking lot, and they had to have her come back up. She was in like her cardigan, like not even in her scrubs. She was like, I knew you were going to cause me problems when I saw you in your first trimester with you being a redhead. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, redheads bleed more. And I was like, wow, I've never heard of that.
Wow. Yeah.
And I think she made a comment about going under and needing more anesthesia. But then I do remember I said I was a baseball player, like, while I was, like, half probably like, they laid me down and I go, "Oh, I love the Yankees and the Red Sox," something like that, and then afterwards, Brian was like, "You were talking about being a baseball player," and I was like, "I have no idea what I was talking about." But
My
I'm
God.
thankful that, you hear of these stories of people waking up or, like, feeling the pain. The only
Can you
thing that
imagine? I mean, that is terrifying.
No, the only thing, and this has nothing to do with anesthesia, is when I was laying down getting a C-section, they have a big mirror for the doctor, and the mirror was so the anesthesiologist was, like, right next to me, but the mirror was faced awkwardly, so I saw them cut me
Cut?
open.
You didn't.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
then
think you ever told me that.
I said, "Oh, I can see," and then they were, like, petrified. They put a curtain over me. And they had to put an extra, like they wheeled this curtain to make sure that I couldn't see anything, but yeah, I saw them, like, cut right into me, and I'll be honest, I think they
Did you
did
get I'm wheezy even thinking about it. Were
actually, now
you
that I'm talking about it, I remember they said, "Do you feel anything?" And I said, "I feel a little pinch. I feel like" I didn't feel the knife, but I definitely felt a little
Oh my god. Do you
situation.
guys see, like, Stephanie is so good with medical things. I'm gonna pass out just hearing the story.
Well, then I remember the anesthesiologist was doing something, and then just gave me something else, and she goes, "How do you feel now?" And I said, "Oh, I'm completely numb," which is a weird feeling if you've ever gotten a C-section, anyone listening, like, half your body is like you can't feel anything, and then your arm everything's fine, and then your arms are out like this. It's a very
Yeah.
bizarre, but so maybe I needed more then, but yeah, that's, like so I can see why, but no, I didn't faint. I was just like, "Oh, this is like Grey's Anatomy."
Yeah.
But
Wow.
I'm sure there's so many other stories out there, and it's cool when you have, like, a story like this because then in the comment section, people can share all of their whether they're crazy, stories about anesthesia. But yeah, like Adrian said, we will link the study because I find the study's very, very, very scientific, but overall, redheads are needing up to 20% more, to
And it says
achieve the
though
same
that
level of sedation.
people were having slower recoveries, and that made me think about how, Steph,
Mm.
you always bounce right back. Like, I have never seen anyone have a C-section like you and just, like, bounce back, like, body, mind, soul, like, you just bounce back like you never got it. And same with
Hey,
all your other surgeries. You just, like, remember, I mean, those tonsils, that was, like, a whole summer's worth of ups and
that
downs when
was
you had to get the tonsils out, and, like, you just did it.
yeah,
And it was like a 5-hour surgery, remember? It was like a long surgery.
yeah. I don't know if they took out my adenoids or not. Do you
I
think
don't
mom
know, but
knows?
apparently you have a lot of scarring, but who cares? Because it's, like, in the back of your
I also
throat.
have a lot of scarring in my ears from tubes.
From
Oh, that was another time I went under, but that was
That was
laughing
another
gas.
time. Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's
you've only been under
crazy.
once, wisdom teeth?
And DNC in 2020. So, yeah, just, like, 2 minor times, really. I mean, nothing, like, that I would even count for.
Yeah, I
You
don't
know,
think
it was
Ryan's ever been under. I don't even know if he has his wisdom teeth out. Maybe once, but yeah, I know it's crazy.
It's really crazy,
And
like,
I
how just when you know that you need more anesthesia, like, let's just say you're like, just to tell a doctor that, or even at the dentist, Like, I just got my teeth cleaned yesterday, and I was just thinking about the woman was telling me that some people are so sensitive at the dentist, and this might be redheads too. They have to be put under every time they get a teeth cleaning.
I kinda just suck it up. Yeah, I don't like
I mean, I
the
don't love it when they're scraping, but I'm like, whatever. Like, it feels good today, you just like do it. But like, I was thinking about how people are really sensitive when it comes to the dentist too, and that we have a whole other podcast just about dentists, and that may
Yeah.
go into our second topic.
Yeah, so this is our second topic. It's lengthy, but it's titled General Anesthesia for Dental Surgery. And someone wrote,
Wow.
I was put under for wisdom teeth surgery today, expecting to be out of it for a while and need help walking, saying dumb stuff, etc. But because of my mutated genes, I was 100% back to normal almost immediately after waking up. I was maybe a little loopy for 5 minutes tops, but I was walking out of there shortly after. I was watching other patients get escorted into a recovery room, barely able to hold themselves up. The surgeon said he's positive it's because of my redheadedness, lol. Anyway, never been so glad to be a ginger. It's 2 hours later, and other than face numbness, I feel completely normal. Then they did an edit, so they went back and said, I also assumed I would wake up during the extraction, but nope. They did say they had to use a bit more than they typically would, which makes me think maybe I was fighting it and just can't remember. Sorry for everyone's bad experiences. Such a weird thing to have to deal with, they said.
Wow.
So, another, specific medical procedure with showing, the similar patterns with needing more anesthesia, but crazy. And then redheads sharing sometimes do require adjustments, as we said. The awareness of just reactions helps doctors plan better. I think knowing if they're a redhead, which I was going to mention this in the first topic we covered with just general anesthesia, not so much dental. But if you're a redhead listening too, it's important to share with your doctor that if your hair's changed colors, if you're
Yeah.
now white or maybe you've turned more blonde, your doctor might not know that you're a natural redhead. So I think it's important to share. I feel like that's something where I would share that and then the doctor would just look at me and be like, okay. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, it's because
Like, go
of
look it up.
because I asked my dentist one time about not my dentist now. It was a dentist when I first was I in New York City? No, it was about 5 years ago. And my dentist was like, I've never learned that in dental school. And that's all he said to me. And I was like, oh,
Okay, well,
okay. I own a brand for, I didn't want to be like,
I
but
know everything there is to know.
yeah, I just think, what a lot of people in the comment section shared is advocating for yourself and always mentioning your hair color. And I think that's just important, no matter what your doctor or your PA, whoever it is, reaction is. I think it's just important to
To bring it
share.
up.
Yeah, which do you remember Adrian? Adrian's mother-in-law is a natural redhead. We've talked about her on the podcast. She sent you that voice text and we turned it into a video, but that
We
was about her
did.
dentist.
Yeah, she is always at the dentist. She has beautiful teeth.
Yeah,
I
she
think
does.
that she is always telling them about she loves like redhead facts. And so like even though and that's a really good example, like she's in her 70s now, so obviously like her hair isn't the vibrant red it used to be, right? And it's more like a strawberry blonde. But she needs to tell people I am a natural redhead. Like kind of
Okay.
like our dad, he had a blood clot with a surgery and he had to tell like no one would know he was a redhead because he was white, right?
Correct.
But I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah.
important for you to like speak up and say I am a natural redhead. Like of course no matter if your hair dies, like I mean if your hair just fades then
Mhm.
you still are a redhead when you're in your 60s, 70s, 50s. Even if you dye your hair, like let's just say you have black hair or you have blonde hair because you dyed it from your natural red, you're still a natural redhead who needs to tell the doctor, I am a natural redhead. So yeah, my mother-in-law is always preaching to the dentist wherever she goes about her gene and she really like if you give her just a normal amount of is it lidocaine? If you give her the normal amount of lidocaine, it doesn't
Doesn't do
do anything to
anything?
her. She needs like an extra
Wow.
dose of it. Yeah.
That's
So,
fascinating.
and she's really monitored, she's always there like advocating whenever Josh has had surgeries. Like when he had his knee surgery last year, we told the doctor and he doesn't I don't know if this is a redhead thing either, but he doesn't agree with the anesthesia, like, for days after. Like, when it's getting out
Hmm.
of his system, he's very sensitive to the anesthesia. So, like, he
Oh.
really doesn't like it. I mean, I had 2 of the minor surgeries, I don't even really remember them, but I think it's really interesting that, like, it's not just when you're in the hospital, it's also or in the dentist, it's, like, afterwards that it affects some redheads too.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I have to say, this dentist, the last teeth cleaning I got recently, I was like clenching my fist so much. I had like indentations in my, it
Why?
was
Because they
just,
were really, like they were really scraping?
oh, and then it was like piercing my ears. I was like, can I put on noise canceling headphones? If I had noise canceling headphones, I think I would have been fine. I mean, they give me the sunglasses, but I was like, oh, this is just like, and it was sensitive for the first
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I'm usually never sensitive.
I go every 3 months, and I do
Okay.
love, like because I think it gets me because I used to feel that way when I would wait for 6 because like, it's, like, that extra, but I can't believe
Yeah.
what they even scrape out after 3 months.
Yeah.
It's really crazy, but I really love, like, knowing that I'm taking care of my teeth, but I do have to tell you, like, yesterday, I was, like, in a bad mood going to the dentist, like, I didn't wanna go, I didn't want my teeth scraped, and then they talk to you, and you can't talk back because, like,
Oh my gosh. She's like, "What do you have planned this weekend?" I'm like, "Really?"
yeah, I know.
I'm like going on, I'm like trying to talk and then
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I know. But teeth are very important. But yes, so advocating for yourself no matter what surgery it
yeah.
seems to be, you know. But yes, we'll link I wish I
The
knew that
dentist
dentist's
one.
name. Yeah,
We
remember
we
he was
we
redhead.
interviewed a redhead dentist
Yeah.
who was an advocate for redheads needing more Novocaine, more lidocaine at the dentist, more
Yes.
local anesthesia. So we'll definitely link that one because that was a good podcast. It's also on our YouTube page. We video recorded it with him.
Yeah. I know I'll report back. I have a
Right?
part of
Was that a video recording?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
No, I think it's before
Okay.
we did
Okay, psych. It's
video.
not on YouTube.
No, it's not on YouTube, yeah. I'll report back too. I have a tooth that my dentist has been looking at the last year to see if it's gonna turn into a cavity. So, if I need is it lidocaine you need? Novocaine? No,
Both. I think they'll do both, right?
I don't have no idea.
Yeah.
They give you something to numb it. Are you looking it up?
I was, but it's okay. I don't know what they give you if they don't give you Novocaine or lidocaine.
I thought
Novocaine or
lidocaine was when you had a bad like
I thought that they lidocaine is generally preferred over you can do either. They're
okay,
both used
so
as a local anesthetic for dental procedures.
have you ever had a cavity?
One.
Me too, one, but I don't know if they gave me more. He was the dentist. It was like 5 or so years ago, he was the dentist who said, "We didn't learn that in medical school," and I just didn't say anything. I just wanted to get out of there. Alright, so our next topic is about epidurals.
Mm,
So, it's called Epidural Issues, and this person wrote, "Just found this community and curious to know if any other women had issues with epidurals during delivery. Long story very short, my anesthesiologist refused to give me any extra since, quote, it's been disproven, end quote, that redheads don't need more. And then put in, quote, parentheses, he's the only one I've heard this from. Even my dentist gives me more Novocaine. But my epidural wore off 3 times during my son's delivery. No one has an answer for me, but wondering if it's somehow related to being a redhead. Thoughts? So we just talked about that. How, so this person had an experience with the doctor who claimed that redheads don't need more anesthesia when it comes to the epidural.
mm,
So, yeah, I think it's important to share medical providers may not always account for redheaded genetic differences, but redheads, you know, often notice them firsthand. A lot of people in the comment section shared that they may be more sensitive to pain medication. Some reports epidurals feeling less effective. And I think the advice here is to communicate with your healthcare provider and be aware of potential differences. I just think, you know, we're in no way, shape, or form in the medical field. But I
no.
think with these 3 topics, I think the most important thing to share is to just talk to your healthcare provider and
And hopefully they have experience with redheads. Like, it seems like, Steph, maybe your
Mm,
doctor who was like, "Oh, redheads bleed
bleeding
more,"
more?
she must
Yeah.
have had other patients, I'm just assuming, who were redheads who bled more, and she's seeing the pattern herself.
Probably for her to mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I know exactly what she was wearing when she walked into the room and said that, and
Wow.
it stuck to me, because, of course, How to Be a Redhead, I thought, "Oh my god, can we turn this into an article, talk about this on a podcast," you know? But it was the first time ever in my medically, a professional saying something about being a redhead, so I just
Mm,
found that really it's not like I asked her, "Oh, is this because I'm a redhead?" She's the one who brought it up, and yeah, it was interesting.
that's really
I
cool.
was just happy she didn't say that my hair was, like, brown. So
That she, like,
she knows I'm a
recognized you for
natural
who you
redhead.
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really
I
awesome, and
remember.
this is
Yeah,
I was just gonna say that this is really an awesome weekend for us because Black Friday, we usually just do Black Friday deals, like, just right on Black
on,
Friday,
like, the
but we're
night
doing it
before
early this
Black
year.
Friday. Yes.
Yeah. So right now on our site, we have 30% off bestsellers, 40% off bundles, up to 50% off clearance. It's like the biggest Black Friday sale we've ever had. So we just wanted to announce that, and that link will be in our podcast too, so you guys can shop with us. We have Finally Glossy. That's probably going to sell out again, like our ninth time. We can't keep this shampoo back in stock. We have all of our concealers, we have our mascaras and lipsticks that are not sold out. We just have so many items that are coming in and coming out as we're rebranding, and it's a really exciting time for us. So make sure to head to our shop and stock up on all of your redhead goods. We have so many great things for stocking stuffers,
Gifts,
and yeah,
everything.
the best. So make sure to go to shop.howtobearedhead.com and shop with us.
And want to help us spread the news about the How to Be a Redhead brand in this podcast? Please give a 5-star review and tell your friends, redheads, and everyone else to subscribe. You can listen to this podcast directly on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget to look at the podcast notes with links and so much more.
Rocket Redhead. See you
Rocket!
next Friday.